house on the table. There's a rose through every window.
All right, we're live.
To light the stairs. One you go. You say you want you want to fix my house. You want to fix my house. No.
Hi, everyone.
Good evening. Hi, Stephanie.
Hey.
Hey, Hannah. Hi, Nina.
Hi.
Glad you could join.
Yeah, we're just going to give people a little bit to join before we get started, so bear with us. I'm going to give people another 2 to 3 minutes before we jump in. So welcome to our CLT 101 workshop.
Yay! All right, sorry. I get the song, the next song.
There's a train a coming Leave this heart again. Stay. For the train to Georgia. Open the doors and burn them. But the same is on. It's the king of stone. So people get the train will come.
Looks pretty good.
People get ready.
Take it. Just pay the
Come on, y'all. Can't be just happy.
You good, Hannah?
Sorry.
That's okay.
Okay, here we go. Here we go.
All right. So in the interest of time, I think it's a good point for us to get started for the evening. Hi, everybody. Welcome. My name is Stephanie Rivera, excuse me. I am a member of the East New York Community Land Trust. I'll be co-facilitating this evening with our youth leader, Ayani.
Hi.
Oh,
Oh wow, there's 21 people.
So what we're going to be doing today is giving y'all a really broad overview of what a community land trust is, how that model can be used in New York City for equity and justice, what the East New York Community Land Trust is doing right now, and what are ways that y'all can get involved.
And can I add?
Yes.
We'll also be talking about how we can support the young and elderly people in our community.
Absolutely. So if there are any points in the presentation that you have questions or want to know information, please drop it in the chat. Use the chat function. Members of the East New York Community Land Trust will be answering them as they come up. If we don't get to your question, please hold on to it. We're going to do some breakout rooms at the ends of the presentation where you'll be able to bring up those questions again if we aren't able to answer them during the presentation. All right, so let's get started, Hannah. I'll pass the mic to Miss Lina.
Good afternoon. My name is Lina Green. I live in Brownsville. I'm a part of the East New York Community Land Trust. And East New York Land Trust is made up of community resident of low and middle income, Black and brown, and we're trying to display, make our neighborhood better with the East New York land. We want to make it healthy and safe. So if you want to join us, we would appreciate it. And it's something that we are looking forward for not only us, but for the kids that lives in the neighborhood and for seniors like me.
All right, Ms. Judith, do you want to talk about some of the challenges we're facing in Brownsville and East New York with housing? You're on mute, Ms. Judith.
Yes, so my name is Judith, and I'm a member of East New York Community Land Trust, and I want to talk about our community. So people in our community don't have access to credit, and because they don't have access to credit, they can't get loans. So what they do, they take out predatory loans, and these loans have high rates of foreclosure, especially in the East New York and the Brownsville communities. When compared to anywhere else in New York City. So right there, we are at a disadvantage. So speculators are targeting East New York and Brownsville neighborhood because they're looking for property that are at risk and could be foreclosed at any time. So they get the owners to sell for very little money. Then what they do after they purchase those homes for a penny on the dollar, they basically flip those homes for huge profit. You know, they probably will rebuild it or whatever, but they flip it and the return is very great. So this impacts tenants because building of less than 6 units aren't rent stabilized. Remember, it impact tenants because building of less than 6 unit aren't rent stabilized, and they don't come with protection either. So this is not good for our community right there. Okay, so in November, for an example, in November of 2019, Marina in Sogner sold her home to Parkway Advisor for $410,000. Then in May of 2010, a little less than a year, it was sold to Aswaski DeGraff for $845,000. That's a profit of 106 in 6 months. Okay, look at the time frame when they purchased. Okay, then you have another example where owners sold their property for $420,000 in 2018 to United Equity LLC, Limited Liability Corporation. Rich turned around and sold the home for $1.23 million in June of 2021. Look at the money. Look at when they purchased and look at the money, the profit that they incur. Okay, so moving forward,
Go
Hmm?
go to the next slide.
Yeah. Do I read the screen or continue to read?
No, I
What
got
I'm
you, Ms.
reading?
Judith.
Oh, okay. So, do I read on the screen or continue to do what I'm reading?
No, I got you, Ms. Judith. Next slide is someone else.
Oh, okay. All right.
Got you. So you heard Ms. Judith talk a little bit about some of the challenges our homeowners are facing directly in our community, which also translates into basically housing insecurity at several levels, right? Not just homeowners, but our renters in our community as well. And so some of the things we are doing as a community land trust is really campaigning for stronger protections at both levels, because we recognize that as gentrification starts to move into East New York, right, it's going to get more difficult for our community members to own homes and have housing security. Next.
I wanted to just add, like, you know, fighting for stronger protections is so important, and we're doing that, but there's also super important to fight forward by like owning the land. And so it's land, community land trusts and like land ownership are a way of insulating the community from this kind of greed that Judith described.
And please, let's not forget, we have to support the the new homeowners and the young people and the elderly in the community.
All right, so y'all hear us kind of throwing around the term community land trust a lot. And so a community land trust is basically a home ownership model where the community actually comes together and owns the land collectively. The land trust forms as a nonprofit organization, and then they collectively own and steward the land for the community. The first major step is for the land trust to actually acquire properties. This can be in the form of vacant lots or even government property or structures or lots with structures and homes already on the land. And the way we are able to ensure long-term affordability for the property is that the CLT sets guidelines about ownership and resale. They separate ownership so that the land itself, like the actual physical ground you stand on, is owned exclusively by the land trust. And then any improvements or structures that sit on top of the land then become the homeowner's property. The property owner basically enters into a renewable lease with the CLT, typically for 99 years or longer, depending on what the CLT determines. And that way it's kind of a co-ownership opportunity where the individual or the family is able to own the home, and the land trust is able to maintain the land and keep it affordable for generations to come. Next.
Hey guys, it's me again. Okay, so what is a CLT? As you can see in this diagram, community residents own the land, property owners own the building or whatever else sits on the land, right? You guys see that, or is it just me?
Yeah.
Yes.
Also, if you guys are familiar with any community land trust, can you please drop it in the chat?
Great. So yeah, please drop it in the chat if you know any other CLT. But just to talk a little bit about the history of CLTs. Well, there's CLTs across the world, and there's many CLTs in the US specifically. So the first contemporary CLT was founded during the civil rights movement in Albany, Georgia, by the descendants of sharecroppers, and it was called the New Communities, Inc. And it was a way for Black farmers to have self-determination when they were facing all sorts of discrimination, evictions, you know. And so now there's over 200 CLTs all over the country. And there's 20 CLTs in New York City, and the numbers are growing. We want every neighborhood to have a CLT. The first CLT in New York City was the Cooper Square CLT that's on the Lower East Side, and it was founded in 1991. And it actually has 19 buildings, all on the Lower East Side, all clustered together, and it's extremely affordable. And in 2020, East Harlem El Barrio CLT acquired 4 rental buildings. And there's so many other CLTs in New York City that are fighting to acquire land like us. Judith, I'm going to pass it to you. Can you unmute?
Yeah, sorry. How do CLT works? Democratically governed, run by a board representing 3 key constituencies: residents 5, community 5, and advisor 5. By and for the community. Ongoing community organizing and partnership are crucial to long-term success. Flexible model. Support many different uses, not just for housing.
Great. So now I'm going to see if I can launch a little poll. Let's see. Sorry, guys. Hold. Okay, do you see it?
Mhm.
Yes,
Great.
ma'am.
Give everyone a minute to answer these 2 questions. First one is, if a house is in a CLT, who owns the land? The second is, who owns the house?
TLT, who owns the land? Who owns the land?
Okay, we give it another minute. Got 17 out of 29 people responding. Okay, I'm going to end it. And I'll share the results. So yeah, most people got it right. So if a house is in a CLT, the land, the answer is the CLT. And who owns the house? The homeowner. So we want to really stress that, you know, if your house is in a CLT, you hold the deed to your house and the CLT owns the land. It's this unusual setup where the land and the property on the land is separated. Okay, Stephanie, back to you.
So the way that the partnership works between the CLT and the homeowner is a document called a ground lease that every homeowner enters into with the community land trust. It's basically the legal document that binds us together. Some really important terms in the lease include the lease term, how long the lease will last for, which is typically 99 years. Any sort of like occupancy requirements or restrictions, especially around short-term rentals. The big one is the resale formula and eligibility requirements for the next buyer of the home if you choose to sell it. There's also a lot of mortgage finance restrictions because we want to ensure that every homeowner enters into a lending agreement that that benefits not just them, but ensures that the property stays with the CLT in the long term. We also are big on the right to cure defaults because we don't want people going into foreclosure. There's also rules around who is eligible to inherit the property. So just like any other property anyone else may own that is not on a CLT, you still get to pass on your property to next generations. And so there's guidelines about how you do that and what do you need to do to make sure that's done properly. And again, restrictions on how much you can sell your property for, that's based on a resale formula. It's really meant to balance both your equity in the home and ensuring affordability for the next homeowner or tenant. Next. So the next big question, how do CLTs actually get land? Well, right now, what we're really organizing around is many of these things. First is to organize and push out bad landlords and get tenants to buy their building together. The second is to intervene in the private or tax debt sales that happen and prevent foreclosures. And lastly, is really about organizing and pressuring New York City and New York State, right, to transfer public property that's owned or managed by city agencies and state agencies and transfer the property over to CLTs for public good.
And just to specify, we're mostly talking about vacant property when we talk about government property. We're not talking about NYCHA.
Correct. Yes, we want all the vacant lots that are in different agencies' names, empty buildings that they have done nothing with. So I'm sure if you've lived in East New York or Brownsville and you've seen empty lots, empty agency buildings that are sitting and doing nothing, those are perfect opportunities for us to gain ownership and put it to good use for our community.
And so we're going to go through these strategies in more detail, and we're going to talk about which piece of legislation supports each strategy. So Judith, go ahead. Oh, you're on mute, I think.
Mute. Okay. So we have this example of a property located at 248 Arlington Avenue in Brooklyn. We talk about the building and the condition. This building is a very nice building, but it needs TLC, tender loving care. The landlord in question is an absentee landlord. He doesn't care about the tenants, and therefore he does not do repairs, and he harasses the tenants. There are photos where you can see the condition on the screen. I visited that building. We have tenants organizing in that building like a month ago. And so I know exactly the condition in the building. The tenants have to make their own repairs. They have to clean their hallways themselves and do basically everything. Okay, just like the only thing they do is pay the rent, but they get no service. And that is horrible. So why should they own the building themselves? Why? So they need to own the building if they're doing all that work without no intervention from the landlord. So they need to own the building themselves. Why? Because we need to push the landlord to sell. That way the tenants can own the building. The TLC could make the purchase and own the land for them so that they can own the building, which is their units, basically. How this gonna work? Legislation can help. So we have COPA and we have TOPA. COPA, COPA, is the city legislation, and it stands for Community Opportunity to Purchase Act. And then you have TOPA, which is a state bill, and it stands for Tenants Opportunity to Purchase Act. So you have the tenants and you have the community, two different versions. These bills allow tenants and nonprofit partners with the first right to buy their building, which means if the building is up for sale, the tenants and the community partner will have the first right to purchase the building when the building goes up for sale. This would help us because we can push our landlord to sell, but the right, we would have to have the money ready and available. Because investors are usually have money ready and available, it's easy for them to jump in and purchase. But because of those two programs, and TOPA and COPA, we they will allow us the opportunity to get the funds. They will give us time to get the funds. So at least we are still in competition with the investor. But because of the condition, we will have the first right to purchase over the investors, which is a good thing for us. So we can stay in our community, we can live in our community, and we can continue to build our community up because we will have ownership. So this legislation gives us the advantage of more time for the finance to come together to buy the building, as I mentioned earlier. So this is a first step in the right direction for those two programs. And that's my thing.
Thanks, Judith. So
You're
the
welcome.
the second strategy is intervening in private or tax debt and preventing foreclosure. So in East New York and Brownsville, more homeowners have property tax and water bill debt and wind up on the tax lien sale than in most other neighborhoods in the city. That's because there's a lot of low-income homeowners, and many of them are seniors on fixed incomes, and they may have even paid off their mortgages, and they end up with this municipal debt. And so, many of them accrue a lot of debt to the tax lien trust, and they become at risk of foreclosure. And so one strategy is for community land trust to intervene, pay off the debt in exchange for putting the land in the CLT. So this provides an option for homeowners who are at risk of foreclosure and really want to stay in their homes. And so the way that the legislation helps, well, 3 years ago, we founded the Abolish the Tax Lien Sale Coalition. And we fought to, completely get rid of the tax lien sale because we think it's really unjust. And in February 22, the tax lien sale law actually expired. And for the first time, it was not renewed. And this is thanks to all of the organizing that we did. And so we've spent the last year developing a proposal to replace the lien sale, a proposal where the city would actually collect on the debt that it's owed. And it doesn't outsource the power of debt collection to this predatory third-party trust. And one piece of our proposal is that the city should actually forgive people's debt if they choose to put their home in a community land trust. I want to stress that it's a choice. People can always choose to not go that route, but we're giving people another option where they will have their debt wiped out. And so, so we're working with Councilmember Nurse and Councilmember Sanchez to introduce legislation that would operationalize our proposal. And we're hoping that the bills are going to be introduced this spring. So more on that. And then the final strategy is to organize and pressure government to transfer public property. So, the East New York CLT went out and surveyed all of the city-owned, underutilized vacant land across East New York. And we found that there were 255 pieces of land. And we narrowed that list down to 10 sites that we think are really viable for community ownership and development. One of those sites is on Sackman Street in the East Brooklyn Industrial Business Zone. And it's 20,000 square feet, and it's owned by the Economic Development Corporation, quasi-public city agency. And we've done a number of community visioning sessions to find out what people would want to see on the site. And the vision that's emerged is for a food hub that also includes space for nonprofits, particularly nonprofits that are doing job training in the green economy, like around electric vehicle and solar installation. So we're excited about this vision, and we're actually looking for tenants who are interested in being part of this project. And The legislation that supports this is the Public Land Disposition Bill that was introduced by Councilmember Ressler. And what it does is it gives community land trusts and nonprofits the first right when the city, it gives them priority, sorry, when the city transfers public land. So it's a way of stopping the city from transferring public land to for-profit developers who are focused on making a profit. So yeah, so now we have some breakout groups, and I'm going to turn it back to Judith.
Okay. So we're gonna have some breakout groups, and in that breakout group, we will select a person who will report back. So we only have so much minutes in the breakout room. So make sure when you're doing your notes, you do very quickly notes, and when you come back to report, that you'll be addressing what discussed in your particular group. Okay. So because these are short questions and quick answers, so we have to be going on the clock. Okay, so we're going to be into breakup group, and it's going to tell you to, when something's going to pop up to tell you to join the breakout group, you just click on join and it will put you into your group.
Okay. Sorry, hold on 1 second. Okay, I'm gonna open the rooms.
Okay.
And so, as Judith said, please find somebody in your group to do the report back. Hey guys, are you? Oh, I see. Ethel, are you there? Welcome back, everyone.
All right, sorry.
Hey, you
The
cut us
advantage-
off. We were just getting into it.
Yeah, we were just getting hot.
We were just getting into it, Hannah.
That's a group that's not shy.
No. I didn't think I could be of help, but I think I was some help, and they were helpful to me because I wanted to learn about, the residential side, because you know what I do. And I told them about the project you and I are working on, Hannah.
Great, great.
Oh,
I'm
and I
glad.
want to tell you guys something. Hannah is amazing. You got somebody. She,
Don't-
Amazing understatement.
no, she really does her stuff really good.
Hard worker.
She really is. She really is.
Yeah.
Guys,
No, it's true. You're great.
thanks, Sarah.
Yeah. So
So report back.
So for our team, we will have the report from, I think, Jiri.
Changji.
Janji. Yeah, sorry. You can report back.
Oh, okay. So we kind of got to the questions. So the questions that were that came up for folks, one was, how does Community Land Trust help new homeowners get home on the land? Is there like a special program? How does that happen? The second question was, how much community participation have you received in your work to date? Third question was, let's see. I think this is the one that Daryl asked in terms of from the residential side. I'm going to be honest, Daryl, I'm going to let you ask that question. In terms of, I think you were saying from the homeowner side, kind of getting that perspective. And you mentioned looking for like an anchor organization at the food hub.
yeah. Well, let me just a couple of things. That's a project that I'm working on with Hannah with the CLT. But I
Okay.
said I wanted to learn about the residential side, and because I'm involved in the industrial, and I said I did learn a lot. But one of the things I think, who was it that was speaking? Judith. Why don't you mention what I mentioned about the 99-year lease? You want me to mention that?
Yeah.
Here's what's interesting. What happens when the lease is up? There's a scenario. I'm retired from Con Edison. Con Edison owns the building at 30 Flatbush Avenue. Their lease is up in the next 3 or 4 years. Con Edison wants to renew the lease. Listen, this is not supposed to be out in the public, but so I'm just telling you guys. So the leasing agent said, we don't want to lease it back to you. We could make oodles of money putting up a high rise here, selling this to a developer, 10 times of what you want to lease it for. So right now, Con Edison is scampering to keep that building or find another place. So my point to making this was, in 99 years, when you sign this lease, I think signing a new lease is just going to be one option. People may want to buy this out and put up a cooperative arrangement with all the houses or something. Somebody may want to buy all the houses. Somebody may want to tear them all down and put up who knows, a tennis court. You know what I'm saying? I'm being really wild. But in 99 years, Con Edison had no idea that they would have a problem releasing this building. They're going to have a really big problem because the people that own it says, we can get so much money and we don't want to lease it to you. So Con Ed is, we got to see what happens. So that's what I'm saying. In 99 years, you don't know what's going to happen. I think releasing is going to be just one of the options, and it might not be the first one.
I would say also that there are built-in protections. So part of it could be that there's an automatic renewal unless there's good cause shown why it should not be renewed. Similar to good cause eviction that's in the state right now for legislation. And there's always going to be a tie back to the resale formula. So if we're not going to release it, then it would put the homeowner in the position of having to sell, right? Which is not what we want to do. But if that homeowner chooses to sell, then they're still bound by the resale formula.
Let me ask you this, Stephanie. Will those protections be around in 99 years, you think? Do you think there's a possibility that they could change?
There is a possibility they can change, but that's why our board is community run.
Okay, yeah. I mean, these are things that people in the land trust that have these properties, they need to be, you know, one step ahead of the people that are owners, that if you want to keep these properties. And I think the Eastern York Community Land Trust is really a model organization for land trust. You guys do a great job.
Yeah, thank
Yeah.
you. Thank you for the question.
Yeah, those are great questions. And I want to, the question about how CLTs help homeowners, you know, like get, especially first-time homeowners, home buyers. I want to, I think we should, you know, I want to respond to that, give you a robust response based on other examples. So I think we'll follow up, but I want to say that, I mean, the whole purpose is to be able to make homeownership possible for lower income people. You know, so we want to make sure that the homes are really affordable. But then to provide support along the way. You know, so that people don't end up in foreclosure. That's the big priority.
So I think one of the question from, I don't remember who it was. She was asking, how do you go about in terms of, okay, so you get the land and you do the survey, you do the blueprint, you finish build up the building. Is there a lottery system from that point on?
Is there a lottery for?
Yeah, after you the building already built and the unit are ready to be rented, is there a lottery system where you have to apply to a lottery? I think when the question was coming in. Yeah.
Yeah, I know that for rental, but I'm not sure for homeownership. Steph, do you know?
Okay.
I mean, I haven't seen an example done that way with a lottery system, like how is done at the city level. Typically, the lottery system is operated by the New York City the Housing and Preservation Department. And it's just their model of how to equity distribute limited affordable housing stock. It's not a consideration that we've explored. It's been about choice. And if you end up owning a multi-unit building, then you would be responsible for how you choose to rent your units in accordance with the law, including all housing laws and anti-discrimination laws.
Yeah, but I think the question was, how do they get the unit? Do they have to, is through a lottery? How do they obtain a unit?
I got some support on this from our lawyer who's not our second lawyer who's here that I know, Vishnya. But so the point that she was making is that so anything that's subsidized by the Department of Housing Preservation and Development, HPD, has to go through a lottery. So if it's subsidized by HPD, it has to go through a lottery. There is legislation that we're fighting for that would exclude CLTs from that lottery requirement, because there's the reality that these homes should be for the longtime residents of the community. That's something we're fighting for. And that's something CLTs across the city are fighting for. But if it's not subsidized by HPD, then it doesn't have to go through the lottery.
Yeah, because the lottery, from my experience, the lottery never capture our community. It's always outside coming into us, which displaces us in the process, and that's not what we're fighting for.
Right. So yeah, I mean, with all of these, I think we try to demonstrate that there are things we can do without legislation, but there are a lot of things that we do need legislation to improve, you know.
Okay, that was a good question.
Should we go to the next group?
Yes. The other question.
Hi.
Okay.
Oh, next group or next? You want me to speak now, Hannah?
Yeah, go ahead, please.
So in the other group, sort of similar stuff came up. Right before you joined us, Hannah, what the first question was about timelines. You know, at what, so the CLT is awarded property, what does the timeline look like for people to get on that land or get into those units? And then the related question was about how is the work done? You know, would the CLT have funds to hire contractors? Would it be sort of like the Habitat for Humanity model where interested parties or community members would be responsible for doing portions of the work? Or would the CLT be seeking out local contractors and businessmen to donate both like time and resources to make the repairs to the properties? And so I think that's kind of tied to questions that have already been brought up, right? Like the running of the CLT, and that maybe looking to other models or successful CLTs and how they handled it would maybe shed some light on questions that you guys can't have answers to yet because it's still the beginning stages.
Right, and we can look to CLTs, other CLTs to inform what we do, but you know, local hire is a really huge priority for all of us, and hiring local contractors is, yeah, is included in that. And I was saying that in California, I've heard about, you know, when these conversions are done for tenants to own their building, some CLTs will like look to the tenants and see if there's any tenants in the building who want to be hired to make the repairs, or contractors themselves. So going as local as possible, asking the tenants first and going outwards from there.
And then I think there was a last question about how the CLT identified land, like useful land, to put as a part of the proposal, because we were shown the one building and then the undeveloped plot of land was mentioned, which I think also fits in with the timeline question, you know, which of those would be prioritized. I think maybe it would be occupied buildings that need repairs, you know, over empty buildings or even undeveloped lots.
And I was saying that we went through like a whole democratic process within our steering committee to identify the lots that are targets for us, and to talk about which criteria matters, the size of the lot, its location, whether it's in a flood zone, access to transit, etc. Yeah, the size of the lot really matters, because there's, you know, like if it's a tiny lot, it's really hard to develop, and we need economies of scale to make the financing work.
I think that generally covered what we discussed in the group, and which, you know, was answered very well by Hannah. And this, I guess, more research will be needed to, or just time, you know, see how some of the other stuff plays out.
So is there one more group?
I took notes for our group, so I'm happy to report back. Hey everyone, my name is Sydney. So some of the questions were covered by what the other groups just shared, but a big one that came up for us is like buy-in from the community and how the trust builds relationships with property owners with tax liens on their homes, and kind of, you know, gets them on board. And then also with reaching out to like small businesses in the area and mom and pop businesses, and to kind of, you know, get them to feel that everything that's happening is also in their benefit and in their favor, and what are the difficulties in doing that. We also talked about timelines and funding, and where that will come from. and then what strategies the trust is using around kind of reclaiming resources from the NYPD. And if I missed something, someone else please share.
No, that's it.
Someone want to answer that? Any of those? The first one was, like, how do we organize, the community, especially like local businesses, and homeowners who may be on the tax lien sale, right?
I mean, for the tax lien sale, we've done a lot of phone banking where, you know, the city posts or has information about who's on the tax lien sale. And so from that list, we're able to contact homeowners who are at risk, A, to connect them to services so that they don't risk losing their home. And then B, if they need support from an organization like the CLT, then we can step in and intervene and support them in exchange for joining the CLT. In terms of business outreach, I was part of Simi's group too. So it was something that came up where we said we are like the education and organizing committee. We're the door knockers and the phone bankers and the flyering people. And we're targeting a lot of residential properties as well as nonprofits, and we're still doing outreach to small business owners, but trying to just fine tune, right, what that looks like, and how do we recruit business owners to join the CLT, whether committee or formally as residents, to the benefit and the legacy building, right, of their businesses. So open to ideas about how we can have a targeted strategy there.
Right.
Just 3 groups? One more?
Yeah, we just had 3 groups.
Oh, that's
But
it.
But yeah, if people have other questions, please reach out. And we'll look at the chat too. I'm not seeing any questions though in the chat. And yeah, like, please reach out with to questions. I also took some notes on the questions that people asked, and so we'll be able to like provide more robust responses, because we want to be doing that.
I have a question to ask. What is the goal for the CLT for membership? What would be a happy number to bring together 2023, 2024 to accomplish the things that you have already started to put in works? Because membership is needed. Is it not crucial at this point?
It's so crucial. I mean, that's a really good question. I think that's something the steering committee needs to figure out, like what the goals are for membership.
Okay.
And I think that's something we're trying to figure out in the coming months. And we have a plan of doing a new member or a new membership drive in the fall, and have like a robust new member orientation for people, so that they come in strong and feeling supported and like they know what's going on.
Okay.
More on that. And I think part of that figuring that out includes like what the goals are too.
Got it.
So I'll be contacting you, Darlene.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, so let me just share my screen once more.
There's a question about expectations when being a member.
Yeah, so that's something like we're working out. The steering committee is working out what the expectations are. What we've identified so far is $20 a year in dues. And before you can apply to become a member, you have to have attended at least 3 CLT events, whatever those may be, could be any of our events. But that's the prerequisite.
Does this count as an event?
Yeah, definitely. So this would count for sure.
Okay, I've been to 2.
Great. Love to hear it.
So I thought, in terms of the CLT makeup, it's in the introduction, it's 555. Is that 5 members?
Yes.
Okay,
So
and then
the board, that's in terms of board makeup, yeah.
that's the board makeup. That's right.
And you said it's $20, what, 12 every 12 months?
Yeah. Just to,
Oh,
yeah, just $20 a year.
so that means I can get $1 a month then, or $2 a month.
That I'm not, yeah, I mean, I'm sure we could figure something out like that. And then also if people can't pay, for whatever reason, that's okay too. You can check a box that says that.
So you say it's $20 a year?
Yeah.
So when is the year start? Is from July to June 30th? When is it?
I mean, that's what we have to figure out. We haven't rolled it out yet. When we
Okay,
roll it
okay.
out, well, yeah.
Well, and I would imagine that just like you have prerequisite, you would have to have like, and in order to stay a member, kind of the engagement kind of expectations as well.
Definitely. Yep. That's going to be all part of it. What those clear expectations are.
And is the membership like preference, like in terms of the residents, like East New York residents prioritized? Like, how are we thinking about membership in terms of
Yes,
as
New
people-
York and Brownsville.
East New York and Brownsville?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah. So Judith, oh, this is you, right? To talk about the events. Yeah.
Yeah. So this Saturday, April 29th from 11 to 12 p.m. We'll be meeting up at 234 Glenmore. And basically we will be doing industrial business survey. And then we reach out to anyone who is interested in joining our steering committee. And for that steering committee, our upcoming meeting will be on Thursday, May 4th at 6:30, and it will be on Zoom. So if you're interested in joining us for our steering committee, because we're looking for members with skills, members who are think out of the box, members who are engaging, members who are really interested to be a part of the community, please reach out to us. Send us your email. We will send you the information. We would love to have you. Bring along some friends, co-workers, college, whoever, wherever you are, bring them along, because we are looking for members to be on our committee. We want you guys to make a difference. This is us for you and for us.
Right. And just to say, so we have a steering committee right now that meets over Zoom every 2 weeks. But like we said, it's going to transition to a more formal membership in the fall, which includes the orientation and all that.
Yeah.
And
So don't forget this weekend from 11 to 12 in industrial business survey. Okay, at 234 Glenwood. Please come out and support. Remember, we can't do this alone without you.
For some of the events, urge your city council member to co-sponsor or invite the Community Land Act, CLA. Go to tiny.cc/act-CLA right now. Also,
so this is the Community Land Act, includes all the bills that were mentioned before: Community Opportunity to Purchase Act, Tenant Opportunity to Purchase Act, the Public Land Disposition Bill, and abolishing and replacing the tax lien sale.
What time on Saturday, please?
It's 11.
11 to 12.
11. Thank you.
Hopefully it's not pouring. If it's pouring, we'll let you know.
get involved. Staff at East New York CLT eastnewyorkclt.org. 646-335-5973. Our website is the East New York CLT.org. Our Twitter is East New York CLT. Our Instagram is East New York CLT. And our Facebook is ENY CLT.
Can I just say that that is so awesome? How do you do that? I totally want to learn how to do that.
Yo, I was thinking the same thing. Like, is that the emoji from my phone? Like, what is that?
That's so dope.
It's when you press the three dots on the side, it says choose avatar and show avatar.
Ooh, this is the generational gap right here.
Yeah, give me back the puppy. I can't with you right now.
That's our youth leader.
She could be several things in one meeting. We don't need to be just one thing.
I can't do this.
I love it. Thank you so much, you guys. I just wanted to say, you know, our whole team is here. Well, almost whole team from Center for New Leadership. We're in Bed-Stuy, and really learning about community land trust. And this is part of that. And of course, East New York Community Land Trust is our like go-to as like the learning point. And we have a lot to learn and explore, and we'll be calling on you guys way more. So just want to thank you for your visionary leadership and just on the ground, like doing it.
Thank you everyone for joining and staying on with us and having such a riveting conversation. Hope to see you at the next event.
Okay.
Thank you. Have a good night.
Thank you guys. Thank you guys.
Good night.
Thank you. Good night.
Good night. Good night.
Thanks, everyone. Have a good night.
Good
Hi,
night.
Mommy.
Bye.
And the
Bye, Anna.